Alright, I skipped opening face-off, but here is the game against the Ducks. But still first shift. So one thing we want to kind of mark down right here is Kathy's coming up, being a little bit aggressive, trying to maybe force a turnover, but one thing is this is a little dangerous. One good stretch pass can spring them out for disaster. So you can see right here, risky situation if they were able to land a good pass, but she was able to intercept it. So I think alternatively a better way of doing that would be to stick with them, but rather than being behind them and intercepting, would have been if she was there and then leaping forward to intercept, and then kind of can see how the play is developing and then go into the zone. Let's continue. Nothing happening there. We'll skip ahead. So this is better. So we're kind of behind the play. Here's maybe one risky guy, but as long as you're staying relatively close, we're okay. And she decided to lunge in to break up the play. Fine, a bit risky. Definitely, like, kind of be careful with that, because if anyone kind of sucks at skating, this will be the league for that. So just kind of be careful. Someone's going to be coming in with speed, and if you're coming forward, more oftentimes than not, Kathy, you're the smaller player, so just kind of be careful for your own safety. But otherwise, that's fine. And then here, I think I did talk to Lena about this on the bench, where if you don't see anything play developing, and I think I've said this to Janice in the past as well, but it applies for everyone. If you don't see a play happening, a couple options is you could curl back around, like do a turn towards the boards and come back up the ice. Or another thing you can actually try to do is just bring it wide, protect the puck, go all the way around the net, all the way up the circle. And by then, you might have bought some time for the reinforcements to come in and join in on the party. And if you don't see anything good, you can just continue around the circle and then go for a shot like that. And because she's right-handed, it kind of puts her in a really nice position. So from swinging from the right-hand side to the left-hand side, rather than just kind of throwing it in the middle. But here's the next really funny play. So they intercepted the puck, and their own team took the puck off their and the goalie's like, same team. Right here, Lena almost, tries for the one-timer and just fanned on it. In a situation like this, I think if you're able to stop the puck and then fire at it is going to be a little bit easier to do, but like hitting it like that is totally fine as well. Alright, right here is a little bit of a breakout issue we gotta kind of fix. So Dave's getting manhandled right here. Immediately we should be seeing someone on the opposite side helping him out for a pass option. So in this case, it probably should be Alex. So going over there, no need to stay in front of the net because Dave has the puck. And then Carrie-Anne is probably going to want to act like the center. So since Dave is over here with the puck, they've basically swapped places. That's how we should really address it, right? So Carrie-Anne really wants to just stay around here for a pass option to get, and then she can bring it up the ice, and Alex wants to be on that other side. What ends up happening, let's take a look, is Carrie-Anne kind of does what Alex should have been doing, but then she's kind of behind the net and too close rather than on the opposite corner. So if you're on the opposite corner, right, you got a longer pathway to work with, so gives you more space to get rid of these forecheckers. So, and it ends up being like a conglomerated mess over here. Now, part two to this is Mr. Dave needs to be along the boards and probably down here to be able to collect the pass. Something to help out, right? So we probably someone over here. Jamie has a little bit more freedom because she's on the weak side wing. And then someone on that center side, so probably Dave wants to kind of regroup, get ready around this area for a short outlet pass. And then Alex, because he didn't go on this side, now he should go onto this side. And what ends up happening is pass up for the wing, and because Dave is on the wrong side being behind the D, it gets an easy interception by their 87, so we are in a bit of trouble. Oh my goodness. And the other problem is not paying attention to this forward. Well, maybe you are, but Alex is opting for the interception, which not necessarily a bad thing, but you can see how there's risks, right? Risks and trade-off. Interception is you could probably spring yourself for a quick exit, versus if you stay with the player, it's probably a better chance of stopping them, but you won't have, like, the quick exit is probably not going to be there. So, you know, pros and cons. Alright, so let's break down this defensively. And it's a tough one for our red tape. So Hans has jumped down into play. He's their left D / right D, one of the Ds, right? And it's really up to our red tapes, our wingers, to identify, oh boy, someone has leaked down there, and really I'm no longer defending anyone. So we could say Jamie is close enough to this D, their right D. He's playing like a right D right now. And Dave, Mr. No, needs to identify Hans is down there. And like, there's no no longer a reason for Dave to stay down here because the D is not here. He's over here. So what does that mean? He should get closer and stick with him, and we'll kind of quickly see why this is the problem. Actually, they're both sneaking in, right? They're both sneaking in. If we could stay closer defensively, that would be better. And boom, ay-ya-ya, they have snuck in, and we're not getting close enough to be annoying, and gets a good chance. It's blocked by Dave, but still, right? We are got to kind of pay attention to where they are. Alright, we're about to show the time when Kathy was just asking for trouble. Settles it down. Right here, your decision should be, with clear space like that, skate it down. Well, okay, couple options. And it's really just trying to figure out how to funnel pucks towards the net. So number one is you could skate it down and then wiggle your way through and see what you can find. Number two, skate towards the middle and then look for a shot onto the net. Number three, just throw it down, bring it back down low if you're not really kind of feeling comfortable. And then four is look for passes if it's kind of open. So let's see what she decides to do. Pauses, decides I want to skate down there after waiting a little bit. Oh, decides, uh-oh, this is a problem, and now this is where she's just asking for trouble, dilly-dallying, circling around, and then eventually going to lose it. Uh-oh, boom, done. Right? The moment she turned around, we were just asking for trouble. So if you see anything like this that makes you think this is no longer a decision that you're turning, this is the time to just huck it down low if you want to keep it in the zone, or make the decision that you gotta abort and get out of the zone but keep possession of it. That's going to be the last case, but if you want to keep possession of it, that's just what you're going to have to do. But if you decide to play games like this, you're just asking for trouble, because it's just, you're closing in. This blue line is acting as a wall because you just can't pass it, otherwise it's going to be offside, right? So You're just backing yourself into a corner. You've put yourself into timeout, and that is what happens. But let's kind of see what kind of options would have actually developed. Yeah, I think walking to the middle is a pretty obvious one right there. Pass down low. I can see the hesitation because of this player. That's fine. Yeah. And then from here, I think just throwing it down low. Now, if you take too long to make that decision, if anyone is good at sealing the boards, which unfortunately for you, Melissa is, you can see how she kind of gets her body right up against the boards. That's a skill that not a lot of people do have. It's kind of, we've talked about it in the past. There are some that are very good at that, and they know most people are going to throw pucks along the boards. All you gotta do is squish your body up against it. You have all your protective equipment. So when they do that, all it does is just bonks off their equipment and back out of the zone. It's a pretty handy technique for anyone that wants to do that, but those are some risks. Here we just see Jess parting the seas. Gets a shot on net. Alright, so we've gone through 4 or 5 games. I think it's probably a good time to start talking about forechecking. It's going to be a learning progress. It's fine. So what we want to do, break it down into a little step by step. Let's cut that ice in half. Again, it's always that cutting the ice in half. The first person is going to be kind of the little shepherd, and you're just going to guide them to one side of the ice. So in this case, trying to push them this way if you can. And how are you going to do that is really just going to be coming beside them and riding them like a wave. So you're almost kind of encouraging them to go, hey, I want you to go kind of this way. And then we'll have our 2 players come in and start pressuring them, but almost forming a wall-like system. So if we cut that ice in half, we're pushing them towards one side of the ice, and then they're going to be forming the other wall horizontally, and it's going to be squeezing them into it, and it's just trying to getting it smaller and smaller and smaller, right? So let's see, a little bit of pressure, so that's still fine, right? And so Jamie, all you gotta do is start pushing them. You don't necessarily have to take the puck off, but if you can, that's perfectly fine. And now see how we've cut that ice in half. Puck's over here. So if we can, essentially, you're gonna go and squeeze, like get up to them, and you're just trying to push this imaginary wall closer and closer and closer towards the boards, right? And the job of our other forward, so Dave, should be coming in like this, sealing off the boards, right? So you can't bonk it off the boards. And then Dave, the other Dave, is going to be coming down and sealing it off. So it's almost like a little box, right? Boop, boop, boop. And Jamie is trying to push this wall closer and closer towards the boards, right? And then Dave, the double Daves, are going to essentially trying to squeeze this wall closer and closer, right? As it, boom. And then you kind of trap them in like that. And so how do we, let's see what happens. They both decide to peel off, big stretch pass out, and that's kind of, we're trying to just actively discourage that. So the first forecheck, and then part 2 is we need our D to pay attention to where the wing passing options are. So Carrie Ann is coming up to follow this person. Alex has lost connection of where his winger is supposed to be, and so this allows what to happen. Boom, big stretch pass. Should have been easy pickings for Alex to just step in and pick it up, but he did not, and so we get blessed with the guy knocking the puck back into the zone, and we are back on the attack. Alright, so a little confusion still with defense. Jess is on the ball. That's good. But Lena, we need you up there. We need you up there, Lena. Lena! Lena! So they get shot in the zone. And defensively, I think okay. So obviously, this player hopped down, ready to join the party. So Jess was down there to support. Perfectly fine. Yeah, you know what? I'm very curious right now. Yeah, Lena is covering someone that Kathy should be, and then obviously Hans shifted over from this side to go over here. Lena, we need you up there, Lena. And then we're gonna be Spaghetti-O, boom, big shot. Oh my god, that is scary. So we need our wingers up there. Alright, let's pick on Jess a little bit. So she's coming in. I can see she's trying to get it over to Ray, but I think right now Jess is more a lot of straight line right to the net. So if the C parts, she goes right to the net, or it's a lot of rush play, so she's coming in and then passing it off. But I think she's got some fancy capabilities in her where she can hold on to the puck more, do some fancy moves, and then look for the pass. So we'll take a look more throughout the game. Alright, here's another one. So Alex gets the puck in the corner. Immediately, we have possession. When we have possession, we always got to think about this front of the net. We don't care about it anymore. We need to get open for passes. We do care in a little bit of a way, in the sense that the center will be coming back and kind of like being in that vicinity. But immediately, we need Carrie Ann to decide, probably on this other corner, we need to get there to give Alex a passing option too. He could escape back this way, that's perfectly fine, but we need to be open for a pass. And then Dave's going to be ready in this area as that center. And then of course our wingers, again, closer to the boards is always going to be my preference. It's just easier to pass to, and same with Dave. And then closer is going to be generally easier. And then if you get better and able to pivot fast and all that, we can start discussing about escaping the zone. But don't worry about that now. That's kind of like a next level element. So yeah, it's a little bit to get used to. So Jamie, you don't need to stick to number 6 necessarily anymore. Now it's like you can see Alex has the puck. It's time to get open. We need to get to a good pass, get to a spot where you can receive a pass. So Dave's in a good spot. Say Carrie Ann's not in a great spot, right? She needs to be over here to give Alex that passing option. This net front is useless. It's essential. Like he's never gonna pass you there. It's just too dangerous of a pass. And then same with Dave. Get over, like basically where that ref is, or this quench symbol is going to be a really good spot for Mr. No. And then yeah, Jamie closer to boards is going to be preferable. So let's see how that, boom, right there. Alex escaped. Should have been a pass to Carrie Ann. And then boom, escape out, and then pass options galore. Dave could have been boom, turn back around, zigzag. Right here, pass, 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 quick and out. But didn't really work out that way because the positioning is not there. So Alex has to skate around, bounces it off the boards because Dave's not there. He put himself in a difficult position where, right, easy, right for the interception, and now it's a turnover again. So we put on all that hard work to turn the puck over again, right? And just for fun, we see a banana peel. Boom! Holy smokes, the tornado spin from Dave. And it almost looked like that puck was going to hit him, but it didn't. So, yeah. Alright, I think this is my favorite defensive clip. So Alex gets beat by the red tape on speed, gets spun like a tornado, and everyone is focused that she's going to come around and maybe wrap. And watch, no one's focusing on this player. Looks like Henry. And look at this. Oh my god, is that the convergence of a lifetime? and just leaves Henry out in the open in the middle. Imagine if that puck got through. Oh my goodness, what is going on here, guys? Too focused. Absolutely fixated on the player rather than everyone around. Okay, I have to give props to Jamie. She is doing an awesome job of following. Like, you can see Hans is a quick skater, right? He's not easy to follow, but boom, shoulder checks. She sees, oh my god, he's escaping from me, and she is just following him down, which is fantastic to see. Like, obviously getting there slower, it's like, that's not the big deal, but just staying near him is fantastic. And look at this, oh my god. She's almost got the straddle going on down too. Was slightly offside. Well, she is offside. So if she was able to keep it on there and do C-cuts, that's going to be a technique that you could practice for sure, rather than doing like full-on strides. But look, oh my god, back onside. Whoa, we have made big improvements. And that allows Dave to cut in for a big chance right there. Alright, and then let's cut it back to forechecking again. How do we do that? So Dave's putting pressure on this player. And again, his main focus should be, one, yes, trying to take the puck off, but also encouraging up to continue this way rather than doing a reverse pass. So again, the whole concept is trying to cram that wall tighter and tighter, right? So if he is able to kind of encourage them to go up this way, it's going to be preferable. And then our other forwards, Jamie and Dave, they're going to want to close it off. Again, we're trying to form that other wall, and eventually we're trying to just clamp down closer and closer into the wall, right? So it goes like this, right, and smaller. So kind of, let's see how this unfolds. So that's good. So yeah, here's the kind of small mistake. Jamie, you go, we should try to go towards the boards first and then come down rather than going straight. And the only reason why is it's going to be, you see how you kind of just get caught behind them, and it's just not a very ideal path. It's just, you don't put yourself in a way that you can strip the puck off. And again, if you can just think about, we're trying to form that cage and closing them onto them, that's what we're trying to achieve. It's going to be a work in progress. It's not the easiest thing to do, especially because you're trying to coordinate with two other players, but it's I like to think this is probably one of the easier ways to forecheck, and quite effective. Alright, trying to break out of the zone right here. Kathy's trying to bust up with speed with two on her. A little risky, gets poked off and then got shut down. Dave's a little too excited getting up the ice, middle of the ice right now. Dave gets discombobulated and in the corner, so we're in a bit of trouble with a player disadvantage. And then here we got a little bit of a lapse, not following with the player. So Jamie with the D, and here's exactly what happens. Boom, free pickings right in a good spot, and he winds up for a heavy shot. Holy smokes, missed the net, but still, right? And if we were able to just be there to be annoying, just think of yourself as a little mosquito, just buzzing at them, pecking at them, just being generally annoying. It's enough to just bother them, and they'll screw up eventually. Oh, it was a little sad right here. Look, Jamie's just struggling, and it poked off. Oh man, rude, just rude. Alright, so this is kind of just an not a positioning thing, but this is just a highlight of when we're indeed just practicing our backward skating and changing directions. So the weakness of going forward skating when they're coming down on the rush is just going to be highlighted by Carrie Ann right here. it's not necessarily a problem. It's just kind of the pros and cons. So forward skating, so it's trying to put pressure on her, but because she's not backward skating and able to change directions, this allows to be like that, and then you can't see, right? Your back's turned to them, and you just kind of get this combobulated, boom, just like that. You still kind of may be able to poke check off of them, but it's just kind of pros and cons. It's not nothing you did wrong, but it's just kind of an explanation of why backward skating will kind of help you be able to see the play develop. So it's just a skill to work on. All right, I've noticed this more and more. Alex and Carrie-Anne not paying too much attention with the skaters sneaking up behind them. Too focused on intercepting stretch passes. So definitely we are on the heavy risk with perhaps no biscuit. So Alex was already the star for one of Jeff's clips in the enlightening experience for the stretch pass, and so he almost was another victim here. Same with Carrie-Anne. Just gotta kind of stay focused for any forwards that sneak out. And you know, we did talk about, in general, I suggest not to have our forwards sneak behind D until you kind of develop able to pivot or receiving pucks on transition really quickly like this, because you see how hard of the pass that was to receive. But it's definitely a high reward play if you do manage to handle it. But yeah. All right, actually not bad, Alex, not bad. Backward skating. Obviously we can see it's a little awkward for him still. Not as smooth, but it's definitely working on it, and he's keeping better gap control. And then getting closer and getting closer. Boom, stick on puck. Pretty good, pretty good. But now, the other thing is really focus on. You got a lot of threats to focus on. It's also going to be, you're working with your partner on how to shut it down. But yeah, just got to kind of be aware of that. I think this was perfectly fine though. All right, here's another play. It's just a highlight of how you're always going to be put in a bad spot no matter what happens here. So Carrie-Anne is putting pressure on this player on the boards. Solid player, 87, we know that already. And he curls back around hard and beats Carrie-Anne. So always going to be put in a tough spot when you're like that, because Alex, you got to make that decision. Oh my god, you want to put pressure on them, can't just let them walk out in front. But then obviously there's going to be a pass in front of the net that's pretty risky. But let's kind of break it down. Something went wrong right here. We should be ignoring the player behind the net, generally speaking. Like never kind of going behind the net like that. How did this person sneak out in front? So that looks like, honestly, it should have been, I guess, Dave or Alex. I guess it's kind of interchangeable, but too much focus on most of those behind the net. Not enough focus on who's the actual danger, which is in front of the net. So a lot of shoulder checking, guys. A lot of shoulder checking. Right, another one. So Hans is coming in. Too much focus on this player. So Carrie-Anne's sticking with him. So Alex, that means that it's you gotta trust that she's got him. Well, actually, she doesn't. He's definitely beat him wide. At this point, should have swapped off. The moment they swap off, someone's got to peel back and cover net front. It's a tough spot, that's for sure. And then, yeah, so I'd say Carrie-Anne needs to peel off, but it's also going to be a communication thing where it's like, Carrie-Anne, I got him. So right here, Carrie-Anne should no longer be following him because she's the lefty, and as he swaps from right side to left side, we'll let you switch off with Alex, and then the focus should be right here. This player should be your responsibility to carry in. It's going to be like you or Dave, because there's another one coming down the wing. So focus, like carrying on too much, and we've left, oh my god, big chance right there, super scary, right? And it's just kind of not switching off with a partner. Part of that's going to be communicating with them, and then yeah. Alright, I've been waiting for a while to find a clip on how to keep that. So we've talked about straddling. All you need is 1 foot on this side of the ice to stay onside, and you don't need to come to a complete stop. So you can see Jess is slowing down a lot, but Dave, you can see how Dave keeps his speed. So watch again. Drop pass, he has some speed, don't need to come to a complete stop. Straddle the line, boom, and right here he doesn't need a couple strides and he still has some speed and gets a shot on net. So that's kind of a demonstration of keeping onside and still maintaining that speed. You don't need to stop, you'll be less tired. Alright, this one's a tough one. Let's focus, let's break it down, let's watch it, let's break it down as much as we can. So oh gosh. So yeah, exactly. It's not really a positional mistake, but it's also a highlight of benefits of backward skating versus forward skating. And you know what, let's break it down a bit by bit. So already we can see there's a forward behind the play, so that's one thing that's not good. Number 2, kind of like maintaining that gap control. It's tough. 87's quick, and yeah, I think Alex's and Carrie Ann's backward skating is probably not going to be at the same level as this player's forward skating. He was pretty good. So they feel forced to forward skate. But the problem with forward skating is that now you're not really facing the play. You can see with Alex, and so he's going to get discombobulated. It's very easy to just go, oh, like you can't do anything if this guy just cuts across while he's forward skating like this, right? It's just impossible. It's just how it is. And he gets scored on. But is there anything that he could have done better? So yeah, for sure. Backward skating a little bit earlier, and not, if you were able to backward skate and continue backward skating across and then maintain a gap. So the gap right now is okay. It's not great. It's okay. But if you were backward skating rather than forward skating this whole time, you would probably have been able to stop him, just like how you did with your stick on puck with Melissa, right? Boom, right there. If you're facing him, you're in a much better position. You might have been able to shut it down, even if your backward skating speed is not to the level of his forward skating. And let's see what else. So right here, definitely should have already been retreating early. I think this is fine, but definitely, like, we're gliding a little bit. You got to pay attention to this player. You got to pay attention to players. You just gotta figure out how to get that gap. Yeah, it's a tough one. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It wasn't really like a big positional mistake. Like, you're generally in the right area. It's probably just gonna, if you're able to do some backward skating, it's gonna make your life a little bit easier. And then just paying attention to this player, if we were back there a little bit earlier, probably put you in a better spot to be able to defend this one. Alright, so this was a pretty funny clip. Before we do that, let's talk about, like, Lena definitely suggests closer to the board, same with Jamie. But the funny part is we're going into the zone and go a pass, but boom, big crash. Oh my gosh, we have just decimated each other. And Kathy's just working hard in the corner. All right, so let's break it down. Jamie has said she's kind of worried. Sometimes she's getting into people's ways. So she's got the right idea. She's moving towards the net like that. So at this point, just kind of slow down, maybe for a passing option. And if you just continue skating in like this, would have been perfectly fine, except she turned away. She peeled off, went left. I think just kind of was getting scared. And then I also turned right, thinking that if she's continuing on, I could just sneak behind. And so unfortunately, the combination of her turning left, I'm turning right, results in this little car crash going on right here. And yeah, we've kind of talked about how do you decide how to get towards the net, where you're supposed to go. We did talk about those triangle formations. That's generally going to be when the puck is on the perimeter, so on the outside closer towards the boards, right? Then we kind of get in the formation to pass to each other. Now the moment the puck starts heading towards the middle meaning this little kind of area, is when we all start kind of coming together and crashing in. And so once we see that happen, if you're able to just continue in, Jamie, then things will happen. You can kind of see Kathy has got that down, except she's playing D, so she's very offensive minded as a forward, ready to hop in and jump on any loose pucks, and that kind of generates that. So boom, Kathy's ready to hop in. Jamie, if you're in, right, everyone's going towards the net. You can kind of see how, boom, shot towards the net. If you're right there, I think that would have been a good chance to score. Yeah. So breaking that down. Banana peel. Whoa! Crashed into the boards. Here comes Dave, barreling down with speed. What's he gonna do? Alright, we talked about in the past with like Alex or Dave with the puck, we needed someone on the opposite corner to pass to, and then the other defenseman. So we can talk about, it's a bit of a swap. I'm the center, I got the puck in the corner, so therefore Kathy at this point should be basically acting as the center, and we're just kind of swapping back around. So that's perfectly fine. So we should probably want to see Kathy come sweeping up like this. That's fine. And then you can see how Ray gets to the opposite corner. So rather than having myself be the one that has to carry it all around, just a simple boop, pass across. We know pressure's coming in from the sides. And just like that, simple, easy peasy. I would have liked to see Kathy coming sweeping up like this, ready for a pass, even though she is the right D. But you know, in these situations, you just swap back around, get it up the ice, and then we swap back on those positioning on the offensive side. That's fine. That's not a problem. Lena. So yeah, just like that. That had the. If we able to have a quick pass right here, easy peasy for Ray. But otherwise, it's not a big deal. Force him to spinorama, and then Jamie's in a good spot, so just to pass up would have been fine, but wasn't as smooth as we'd like, but it wasn't a huge deal. We can recover from that. Alright, the Dave has been unleashed. He's coming down, goes for the pass. Another option you can go for is go for a hard shot and hope for a rebound out for Dave. But no, that one's fine. Knocked out in the corner. Tries to throw it out front. Jess missed it. Alex was able to intercept. Shot, rebound, taps in. So let's see. Was there interrupted? Yeah. And was there the secondary? I guess it is Dave. Mr. No gets the secondary assist. Dave passes it. And then, all right, cool. Banana peel. Oh, let's rewind that. Whoa. Another It's almost snuck behind them. Oh boy. Here comes the Ford and Kathy. Boom! Interception, sneaking in. Oh my gosh. Crossover, switching them up. Goes for a shot on net. Continues down on the forecheck. Stays in the zone. Gets in front of the net. We got the 2D going in on the full offensive attack. I guess things start to get a little suspicious when our defense is the deepest in the zone for the forecheck. Oh, Jess on the attack again. Straight line, discombobulation, cuts it out. Oh, big shot right into the pad. Alright, I wanted to break down a couple small... We had a chance right here. Ray almost scored. That's not what I wanted to break down. I wanted to break down right here. So pucks along perimeter. That means closer towards... Our initial rush is dead. This is where we want to get into that classic triangle formation. Cutting that ice in half. So someone in that support position down low behind the net in that area, and someone generally you can be in this area. So let's break it down, see what we got, and then obviously someone in this D position somewhere, and then the other D has flexibility. They're gonna have to read maybe here, maybe here. It's gonna be like this whole zone is their flexible zone. Alright, so we looking, okay, who's open? Well, Ray's not quite open, there's not any passing option here. Kathy's getting shut down pretty hard, so that's fine. So we're cutting to the middle. Okay, let's see what we got. What I would suggest, we needed someone down here. Maybe that would have been an awesome spot for Jamie. And how this kind of evolves. So you start from down here, and as we said, the puck starts moving towards the middle. You can start to sneak yourself in front of the net, beside it, and that's going to allow for, number one, if a shot comes in like this, rebounds, you're able to kind of jam away at it, or even a pass down, and then you can start sticking your puck, your stick in there and start poking away. Those are all options. But then we decided to go out here, and again, maybe a shot opportunity. But having someone down here is probably gonna be the benefit. So a little bit of practice, gotta get into those triangular formations, and again, here's a shot, and now imagine if someone was down here, good chance. So some opportunities that might have been there if maybe Jamie or Lena were down there. Alright, Dave giving me all these perfect examples. Boom! Holy smokes, is that an excellent example. We've talked about how it's easier if you skate towards the puck carrier. So you skate towards, boom, receive, turn. And no speed lost. You don't need to stop, you don't need to pivot. Look, Dave stops, pivots, he's way up in the zone. Very hard to pass to. And then skate towards, boom! Oh my god. Perfect example. Alright, Ray's going back in his big bad habits of going all the way wide and then shooting when he gets to the goal line. Why? Alright, last 45 seconds of the game. Let's see what kind of fun we got. Lena comes into the zone, cuts out. Oh, possible shot. Blocked. Okay, sent to the corner. Oh, sent back around. 35 seconds. Forechecking. Did we close the cage? Got chipped down. So that's where if you can seal up the boards with your equipment. Some elite techniques possibly. But, okay. 30 seconds. See what you got, Ray. See what you got, Ray. Oh, holy smokes. Rocket pass. Is that icing? No. Forechecking. Close off the wall. Oh, fanned on it. Back out to go. It's exciting, but nothing's really happening. So, whoa! Banana peel. Oh my god. This guy went. Oh, did it hit Lena's skate? Oh, it looks like it. Oh, that's a big hit. Flying tornado. And that's game 1-1 tie. Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. A lot of topics today. I think forechecking is a new one for some of our new players. Some breakout tips. And some other kind of small things defensively. Cool. And the obligatory, please like if you liked the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and if you ever wondered you're subscribed and didn't see a notification, well, you gotta click that bell notification symbol to let you know if a new video has come. But otherwise, we'll see you next time.